Hello and welcome. I am a storyteller. Welcome back to the world of Atlantica. Today we're talking about the Nachtforet, which is home to many strange creatures and many strange peoples, especially the Nachtforet Gnome, which is one such resident of the Great Dark Wood on the island of Calamar, which is the largest of the 4 isles of Icaria in the world of Atlantica. And the Nachtforet Gnomes are a small band of united tribes deep in the forest of Calamar, and they're led by a king who is voted into office for life from the heads of a number of different clans within their society. In the event of a tied vote, which would be 4-4, a series of challenges designed to test the fortitude and the piety of the would-be monarchs is issued to settle the vote, which generally results in either, historically, in either the forfeiture of one candidate or another, or the death of one candidate or another. Now, about 1,000 years in the past, the Nachtforet Gnomes retreated deep into the depths of the forest after repeated incursions by elf slavers. This process radicalized their society towards outsiders who, I would like to note, have continued to encroach upon and enslave the Nachtforet Gnomes with a number of different human and orc kingdoms especially responsible. Now, that isn't to say that they don't trade or have any relations with some of the other peoples of Calamar, but rather that trade is done as rarely as possible and, generally speaking, stealthily through tightly controlled trade networks. Now, the 8 clans of the Nachtforet Gnomes, ancient as they are mostly based upon the control of resources and the artifice within their society. In no particular order, those clans are the Fishgarth clan, which is the clan that controls the fishing weirs along the headwaters of the river, which the Nachtforet Gnomes live along in large number. The Mazers are the clan that control the production and distribution of mead. The Bibliothecaries are the priests of the Nachtforet Gnomes. They safeguard the sacred texts and holy sites. The Chippies, the Chippy Guild, are the carpenters and the woodworkers of the Nachtforet Gnomes. The Shroom Shooters are the mushroom farmers. Their name, in part, comes from mushrooms shooting up in the night. The Chase Traps are the scouts, the hunters, the sheriffs, and trappers of the society. And the last 2 clans are the East Rhines and the West Rhines, who historically are not elected leader except in time of war. But both of those clans control the defenses of the 2 sides of the kingdom, and their chiefs govern the 2 largest gnome towns, East Rhine and West Rhine. Those clans make up the warriors and judges, and as far as other work, a lot of the smiths of the Nachtforet Gnomes. In times of war, a special election is called, and a ruler of whichever clan is closest to the hostilities, the East Rhine or West Rhine, is elected Riverlord, a special wartime office which can supersede that of the king until peace is declared. Now, in ancient times, the god of illusions, and incidentally, god of the gnomes, Bobico, was slain by his own creation, an elder dragon known as Stradiciplus. Now, ages have come and gone since the time of the God Wars in the world of Atlantica, where they warred with the giants and created dragons and were betrayed by the dragons, and etc. Now, anyway, like many other peoples, the Nachtforet Gnome they've forgotten their true history a long time ago, if they in fact even ever knew it. Indeed, most of the Nachtforet Gnomes worship their god Bobiko as if he were alive and well, but some also worship a strange creature made by the power of the Mar. The gnomes of the Nachtforet keep it in a secret underground dungeon, essentially, somewhere in the forest. Now, this is not exactly a benign creature, especially towards outsiders. It both demands and receives humanoid sacrifice. The gnome priests bring captured outsiders to the temple for this exact reason sometimes. Now, the gnomes have an ally with the druids living in secret to their north. The two elf agents living there, Sherase and Elthia, who actually help encourage the killing of most outsiders, and sometimes even provide a bounty to do so. A secret passcode, at any rate, must be given to the gnomes if they find an outsider who is specifically on a mission from Sherase and Elthia to enter the region without being attacked. With that said, let's start diving into the stat blocks, starting with the bonus stat block, the generic barbarian warrior, the gnome hunter barbarian. Now, if you're not familiar with Pathfinder 2e, it's a system that's not exactly like 5th edition D&D, in that one of the key differences is that Pathfinder plays very well at high levels. So you might be surprised to find that these are 8th level gnome barbarian hunters if you're used to something else. The main tactic that these gnomes try to use in combat would generally be using their raging thrower feat along with the magical darts that already do 1d4 plus 6 damage without raging. If you're familiar with the Pathfinder 2e system, you'll notice that all the stat blocks we make for the World of Atlantica use the optional rule that takes away the level to the added level to the proficiency bonus, and what that does, other than make a lot of the numbers smaller, is that it makes the world more deadly, which, as intended for the World of Atlantica, a bit of a grimdark place. At any rate, moving on, King Grickle is a 12th level barbarian. He's the king of the Nachtforet Gnomes, known for his cunning in battle, despite being a barbarian. Now, he has sometimes led raids against enemies of his people, even though there is a law that can declare a river lord that would depose him. And he has gone to battle himself with mainly against some of the more ambitious orc and human noble families who would try to take land along the river, or equally ambitious, frankly, adventuring parties seeking treasure or challenge in some other way from the Nachtforet forest. Now, Grickle has a number of feats that help with potential ambushes. He has pick up the pace and quiet allies, quick swim, quick climb, water sprint, wall jump. It would be very dangerous to have King Grickle as an enemy, and for him to have an idea of where you are and where he wants to attack you. But with that said, you're more likely to meet someone like Sheriff Brickbuck. Sheriff Brickbuck is a 10th level barbarian. If you were in the Nachtforet and encountered, say, a group of gnomes, Sheriff Brickbuck is like a leader amongst the gnomish warriors. He rides a wolf into battle. His companion named Thumper is also a very the pair is a very dangerous opponent when mounted. Thumper stats, we have those as well. He's a cute little guy, isn't he? Now, as for our next NPC would be Stolly Molly, who is a tracker and a trainer. She has the tame animal and the train animal feats. She is one of the most respected merchants as well as a very capable ranger, and sells the finest wolf mounts in all of the Nachtforet, albeit only to her fellow gnomes. It would take quite a diplomatic performance, maybe even a quest, for, say, a halfling or another small adventurer to earn a mount from the Nachtforet Gnomes. Next up, we have Farloki the Trap Maker, who is an inventor, level 10. Farloki is a great trap maker. Like I said, he's a level 10 inventor. His feats back that up. He is also the owner of one of the strangest things in the forest, a mechanical boar, which he constructed and named Fizzlethorn. Fizzlethorn, there we have a nice little picture of him along with his stats. And finally, our last NPC. Now, everyone before that you would encounter in the Nachtforet forest, specifically in the kingdom of the Nachtforet Gnomes. But our last NPC is known as Red Ferrex. Red Ferrex is a rogue, a level 5 rogue, and is the only Nachtforet gnome not found in the kingdom. That's because he was captured and enslaved as a boy. He went unsold. He was very small, as you might imagine, and he was tossed by his would-be seller into the gutter of an alleyway. He did not die, obviously, and instead lived and grew up as an orphan, and eventually joined the Little People's Gang of Superbia, the city where he grew up in, which is, and he became one of the most sadistic and dangerous killers of the Little People's Thieves Guild. His job is that of basically an enforcer. He collects the take from the orphan pickpockets of the guild. Anyway, he would be a good opponent as part of a campaign against the Little People's Guild or something like that. Now, with all that said, you can find the stat block for all the Nachtforet Gnomes for free, as well as free-to-use classes and monsters and maps, both for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, that is the NPCs and the maps, and the monsters and the classes for Old School Essentials. That's because the World of Atlantica game is being designed as you hear this, to be played in multiple systems. At any rate, if you follow the link to the World of Atlantica Discord channel below, you can find all of that and more. Until next time, peace.